What's up, guys? This is Control-Alt-Delete coming at you with a Evilswarm July 2015 deck profile. You know, the new format just dropped. Trish is back. Mermails might become a thing. Necros are still pretty good. BA are still pretty good. Clips are steadily rising because of Towers Turbo. And Evilswarm isn't a bad deck. Right now, I actually got top 4 in a 32-person tournament and got a quarter of a box of Cross Souls a few days ago with Evilswarm, this exact deck. So here I'm bringing you the deck. Actually, I played 41. I played an extra copy of Mirror Force. I just played 41 because I'm a scrub. But here's the deck with 40. Anyway, so 3 caster. He lets you double normal, so you have to play 3. 3 heliotrope. He's your rabbit target, and he's 1950 attack, which actually comes in handy a lot. And you play him because he's a rabbit target. 3 Karakion, and all 3 of these, caster, what's his fucking name? Heliotrope and Karakion, you have to play at 3. You cannot cut at even one of those. Now Mandragora, I'm playing at 2. While it's a good card, I don't feel like it's warranted for playing at 3. And often it's just a vanilla, and it's the weakest Evilswarm you play. So, I mean, it lets you spam, but you already have a lot of stuff for that. And I'd rather play more traps than play an extra Mandragora. 2 Thunderbird. You know, I could see myself playing 3, but same with Mandragora. It's just not amazing. It doesn't make Ophion better. When in terms of making Ophion, it's really just a vanilla or another Evilswarm name. So yeah, that's the Evilswarm lineup. Not very monster heavy. A lot of times people might even play like Azathoth or something like that, or they might play 3 of every Evilswarm. Maybe they'll play 3 Mandragora, 2 Thunderbird, but I'm playing 2 Mandragora and Thunderbird. Only 13 Evilswarms, I believe. It's not that much, but it actually works quite well. So the rest of the monsters is a Thunder King, because maybe 1 in every 5 games, 1 in every 4, you will not be able to make Ophion first turn, especially now that you can only draw 5 cards on your first turn. It hurt us a lot. And Thunder King is really the next best thing. He's a walking mistake. What it used to be, the best part of his effect used to be that you can negate a special summon, but now, since people are even maining triple mistake, that effect is really good. And this format, there's not that many decks that just can normal summon a monster and attack over Thunder King. So that's really good. Oh, and yeah, here's my DN if any of you guys want to play me. So yeah, I played a Dark Arm Dragon. I don't know why you would cut this card in this deck. Yes, it conflicts with Ophion, but at any point you can detach an Xyz material and just special summon this. And if you resolve its effect, it's pretty much game, really. I understand that a lot of stuff likes getting sent to the grave, but it can help you OTK so easily, and it's just such a good card, especially against Rogue. It just destroys Rogue decks. If I draw this against something like, I don't know, Yosenju, it's just amazing. It's such a good card, and it's so easy to get out. I never draw it and have too many darks, or too little darks maybe, because if I just draw a brick hand and Dark Armed or something, but I never am not able to get exactly 3. If I have 4, you can always banish with Karakion. So yeah, and then I play 1 rabbit. I could either play a secret or a foreign super, and I just like the name in this, whatever it is, German. So yeah, that's the monster lineup. Obviously you're going to be playing rabbit, because that's pretty much the trump card of the deck. Now for spells, playing 3 Rhoda. I had a Hobby League Rhoda. I had Ultra, whatever, Premium Gold. But then I don't even know where my Hobby League is. I didn't want to find it. So my friend gave me a common. What a good person. Anyway, so you gotta play 3 Rhoda. Playing 2 is just retarded, because Caster is aside from Rabbit, Caster is the only card that can make a first turn Ophion. I suppose Mandragora can, but that would mean you'd have to be going second. And in that case, a lot of times you'd want to go Exciton anyways. So yeah, because that's a really strong play. Triple Pandemic. You have to play Triple Pandemic. I see deck lists of people playing 2 Pandemic and 3 MST. That is just retarded. Why would you do that? Or playing Trapstun. Pandemic is searchable. And oftentimes, I will actually go through all 3 Pandemics in one game. Like, I don't get why you wouldn't play 3. It's a blanket lance for all your monsters, and drawing it first turn is amazing, because it allows you to summon that Ophion and then search another one, like, safely, unless they have a Solemn or something, or like a fucking Blackhorn. I don't know, that's annoying. But an Exiton, the Exiton play with this. If they try to do something to your Exiton, you can do this, and you basically guarantee Exiton's effect goes through with this card. Then I'm playing 2 Forbidden Chalice. Just because I feel like it's really good this format. I have quite a few Shadow players in my locals, and obviously this is good against Shadows, but also it's good just as generic effect negation, and it's good for getting Ophion to 2950 to beat over a lot of cards, which are like maybe 2700, like some Necros cards, stuff like that. I find it really useful. I used to play 3 Fiendish and no Chalice, and I bumped it up to 1 Chalice and 3 Fiendish, and then I even cut a Fiendish and started playing 3 Chalice, but I think the correct number of effect negation cards is 4, exactly 4, so you can probably guess I'm playing 2 Fiendish as well. Anyways, I'm playing 2 Dark Hole because it's really good in this deck, because you can Dark Hole and then chain Pandemic to get a clear field on their side, and obviously Pandemic protects your monsters, so it's going to be really good. And then Raigeki, because if I'm playing Dark Hole, obviously I'm going to be playing Raigeki. I'm playing Kaiser Coliseum. It's a good card. I would say it's a really good card, actually. Against a lot of decks, it can just win you the game outright. Like Teller Knights, if they can't get rid of it, they're completely screwed. And obviously Teller Knights is one of your worst matchups because they don't special summon level 5s or higher. But if you can get like an Ophion backed with Kaiser out and they can't get rid of that, they can't do anything unless they play Honest, which most of them don't. So, I don't know. It's just a good card, but you know how people often say it's a great card, but I'm playing it at 2 because I don't want to open multiple copies. Because if you open 3, you're likely to open multiple copies. I'm playing it at 1 because I want to completely eliminate the chance of opening multiple copies, because it would be devastating if you draw 5 cards and 2 of them are Kaiser. Unless you have Rabbit or unless you get lucky, you're probably not making Ophion. And I just needed to cut down cards, and this is what I cut. So anyways, it's a good card when you draw it against a lot of decks. And yeah, definitely play 1. Think deeply about playing more than 1, but definitely I would play 1. D-Fisher, because D-Fisher hurts you even less than Macro, because when you detach, obviously Kirikion is really the only thing that matters. Dad, I guess, but Kirikion is the only thing that cares about Macro on your side of the field. So many decks just get crippled by D-Fisher and Macro. BA would be a terrible matchup if you didn't have D-Fisher and Macro, but if they can't get rid of it, they lose. They can't do anything. So otherwise, it would just be an instant lose game 1, and you try to side D-Fisher, Macro, side a bunch of cards against them. But that's just an uphill battle after losing game 1, trying to win games 2 and 3 off of siding against the deck that you're already not good against when they're probably siding in 3 MST, like Fire Lake, stuff like that, to get rid of your floodgates. It's really hard. Anyways, onto the trap lineup. I'm playing 2 Mirror Force. At my tournament, I played 3. So my logic behind this deck was I didn't play Bottomless, and I didn't play D-Prison. So first it started with, I found myself drawing D-Prison. I was playing 2 D-Prison and 2 Mirror Force. I found myself drawing D-Prison when I already had a D-Fisher or a Macro up. And it was just basically like a Sakuretsu armor. Like, what's the point of that? I'm already banishing all monsters. So I started playing 3 Mirror Force, and it worked out great. And then I realized Bottomless, kind of the same problem, and I just realized I can run 2 Dark Hole because of Pandemic, and I'm running Raigeki, and I'm running triple Mirror Force or double Mirror Force. That's just so much mass removal on their side of the field. Just that's already 5 or 6 cards. And then there's also a Torrential Tribute, so you can just keep nuking their field constantly. It's almost like a constant Fire King Avatar Garunix. It's just great. And Torrential is obviously great because they summon monsters. You Torrential, chain Pandemic. Solemn Warning even though I'm not playing single removal cards, Solemn is not just removal, but it's effect negation, which is really good. I'm playing the Compulse. I'm not playing single removal cards, but Compulse can get around cards like Winda, for example. So I decided to play it. Yeah, for that reason, really. Eradicator. I'm kind of iffy on this card. I used to love it I used to play this deck a lot in Spellbook E-Drags format because this was kind of the third best deck. And against E-Drags, obviously, you would keep Ophion up, but against Spellbooks, you would just do this and, like, they lose. If you call spells, they just lose no matter what. And I kept it in for a while. I took it out, kept it in, went through periods depending on what the meta was. But right now, I feel like it's great against Necros. Against a lot of decks you might want to call traps. You just, if you're going up against an opponent and you don't know what they're playing, don't use it, because you can save it for if they're about to get rid of your Ophion, you can just use it. So yeah. You can cut it. I mean, this is just my opinion, but I think it's a good card to have. Because it can just win you the game against Necros game 1. It gives you that extra edge. Double Fiendish. Effect negation, I was playing 3, but I figured, negating the attack as well. I already have Chalice. I'd rather have them attack into me, and then me just like win the battle instead of just negating the attack, And I already have Mirror Force, so it conflicts with Mirror Force quite a bit if I have Fiendish and Mirror Force. And then I've got my Infection, which you've got to play. Swaps out Evilswarms. You've got your Macro, as I already talked about. And then 1 Xyz Reflect. I'm a huge fan of this card simply because it stops effects that target Ophion, such as 101, Castel, stuff like that. It's just a really good card. Why I pick this over Dark Illusion? Simply because the burn damage, and they're not going to be doing shit to your regular Evilswarms. They're only going to be doing stuff to Ophion. So it's almost the same as Dark Illusion 99% of the time, but also 100% of the time it gives you that 800 burn, which isn't nothing. Onto the extra, pretty standard, I'm only playing 2 Ophion, because I didn't really feel the need, like this. 2 Ophion, I didn't really feel the need to play 3. I know like maybe 1 out of every 200 games you might need 3, but you can usually get by without it. 2 is fine, in my opinion. I'm playing 1 Bahamut. Obviously, you got to play at least 1. 1 Exciton. Exciton is amazing in this deck because of Pandemic, and it works with Kurakion. It's a pity it's not a dark, because it doesn't work with Dad, but otherwise it's great. 101, Castel, Emerald can get you back Heliotropes from grave. Ragna Zero, Cowboy, Dweller, Heartland to win games. This to equip to Ophion and banish. Direwolf just for Dad so I can manipulate my graveyard better. 2 casters can make that. And then this, I played it over Delteros because it's protectable with Pandemic. And then my side deck, I'll just go through it really quick. It's really dependent on where you are. But I played 2 Maxi, 2 Nobleman against Shadows, 2 Shadow Imprisoning. You can play this. Just trust me, you can play it. Ophion doesn't get negated. The special summon effect doesn't get negated with this. And Caster doesn't get negated. Light Imp for Satellar Knights. 2 of this for any deck that might require it. Full House against like Clips and stuff. This against Clips. And then 3 Mind Crush. And that's the deck profile.